So Spacebase Startopia is a game of it's a mixture of a simulation, economy management, and strategy. And in the game, you play the role of the commander of Spacebase Startopia, and it's your job to make sure that the visitors of your station are happy, that they get their needs satisfied, and make sure that they spend their hard-earned energy on your station so that you can expand it and gain access to new areas and build more rooms. So in order to do that, every minute new aliens will arrive at your station. So these guys will arrive here. It should be running. Wait. Ah, sorry. No, it looks like it isn't running. All right, now it should be up and running. I think I tried too early before. But now you can see everything, right? So this is the airlock of our station, and it's where our new alien visitors will arrive every minute. We can see what aliens are going to arrive in this area here. The different faces represent the different races that can come aboard Startopia. And we can see their category at the bottom as well. For example, wellness tourist or migrant or package tourist here. And the category tells me in advance what kind of buildings they expect to use on Startopia and how much energy they are roughly carrying with them. So the further advanced categories will demand a lot more from you, but carry much more energy, whereas the first few categories demand much less buildings from you, but carry far less energy as well. So the most important building which you have to build in the beginning is the berth, which is this room here. And this is the most basic room to satisfy your aliens' needs. So they can grab a drink here or grab a chocolate bar at the snack machines, sleep in these sleeping pods, and take a shower. And if we take a look at one of our aliens, we can see in their UI, we can see all of their needs displayed over here. So here we can see the need for food, the need for hygiene, the need for entertainment, and we can see what level they're currently at. We can see whether they are currently decreasing or increasing. And we can see that if they're filled, that's good for us, that's green. If they're low, they turn into a red, and we want to try to prevent that. Above that area, we have the ratings of this alien. For every action and for some specific events that can happen to this alien, it will um, it will cause a reaction with that alien. For example, this one was happy about drinking in the berth and eating the candy bar in the berth, and that makes it happy. And we want to have only green smiley faces and no red angry faces if it's angry about something. We can also see there's some trash lying around. For example, over here, as the station commander, I have a special power. I can suck all of the trash up into my pattern buffer, which is my own personal inventory, which is now displayed at the bottom of the screen. And from there, I can take it somewhere else on the station, or I can drop it into the recycler, which is one of the rooms that one of the specific races works at. So in this case, it's the Telgor, which is these little guys. And this race lives on a planet that is made up of trash. And so they love it and they love working with it, which is why they are the perfect workers at the recycler. And so now I can drop all of my collected trash into the recycler, where it will be turned to energy, as we can see by the numbers popping up above it. Another specific race-specific job, for example, is the Comm Station, where our bugs work. They're a very communicative race, and they try to filter the messages that are floating around in the galaxy. For example, they could pick up information about a trader that might be close by to trade with us, or about pirates that could be approaching the station, so I can try to prevent them from entering my station. And this large room here is the sick bay, where my greys work, and they are the doctors on Startopia. Every alien that doesn't feel all too well can come here and get diagnosed, and hopefully they get the correct diagnosis and can get treated afterwards and grab their medicine at the dispenser and be healthy again. But now we will move up into the next deck of Startopia. So this is all the sub deck, which is the industrial basic deck of our station. And now we move to the fun deck, which is the entertainment deck of our station. So the buildings here are far bigger and have more glowing lights and have sounds playing and everything, and they're much flashier than below. In this area, for example, we have the loot box lottery, where gambling addicted aliens can go to buy a loot box, and maybe they're lucky and they can draw a random high level hat from this box, and then they can put it on and be happy about it. And we also have the cat cafe, where the Star Cat Cafe, where aliens that would like to relax and have a drink can grab a coffee and chill on these chairs and maybe play with the cats later on a little bit. But now I want to attract a new kind of visitor to my station, which is the gaming addicted or gaming typed aliens. And I need to build a room for that. I haven't unlocked that room, so I will open the research menu. And in this menu, I can unlock new technologies. So this is our tech tree. As you can see, some areas aren't available in this mission. That's because the mission we're playing is about halfway through the campaign. In the course of the campaign, you get access to more and more buildings. And of course, in free game, you will be able to unlock everything. Now, I want to unlock the arcade, which is the room for the gamer tourists. I will unlock this, which costs me prestige points. And these points are displayed up here and are automatically gained for each positive rating that I get. So every time an alien is happy about something, I get another point. Now, I will build this. And this is a variable size room, so I can draw it in any size I want. It needs a certain size to operate, and it can't exceed a maximum. This size works fine. Now I can place different gimmicks inside this, where my visitors will be able to play different games. These all satisfy the need for gaming, but they work in different ways. So, for example, the VR station is for one person at the same time, whereas the cooperative zombie shooter can be used by two people at the same time. So while we wait for that to get built, I can take a look around, and I can see that I seem to have a big problem over here at the lift area. There's a lot of orange fireballs. If I click one of the aliens with one above their head, I can see an anger bar that's slowly filling up down here. So whenever one of their needs is completely unsatisfied, they will start to build up anger. And if that anger ever reaches 100%, this alien will leave the station forever. It's angry that I couldn't fulfill its needs, and it gives me a very bad rating, and I won't get any more energy from this alien. So I want to prevent that from happening. It looks like the lift is just way too crowded. There's too many people that want to use it. So I need to expand my area. I will open this gate. And now I have access to another sector in the fun deck. I will pick up the initial trash that spawned inside this area. There's always some leftover trash that didn't get cleaned up from constructing the station. Now I have access to this. And as we can see, there's already a lift here that's already connected because I've built a lift in the deck below, in the subdeck in this area. And as soon as I got access to the fun deck area, it will automatically connect. And now my aliens should start to split up and use both lifts, and hopefully less people will have to wait. Now, there's something very special about the fun deck, though, because all of the buildings are very big and have lots of lights and speakers playing sounds. They need a supply of additional energy. I can turn off the energy overlay, and now I can see that this sector is yellow, which means it's supplied with energy. This is my starting sector, and my starting sector is always connected to the energy core of my station, which is like the heart of my station. It's where I store my energy, and if this ever gets destroyed, it's game over for me, so I really need to protect it. But in the other sectors, they don't have a connection to the energy core. So here I need to find a different solution. Now I will go into the research menu again and unlock the energy distributor. This handy gimmick lets me supply surrounding buildings with additional energy. So I will place one here and place one here. And as soon as they are built, I will see an area around them light up as well. The lifts are excluded from this need for energy because they're connected to the very foundations of Startopia, and so they don't need additional energy. But while we wait for them to get built, I can take a look at another overlay, which is the air quality. Now, I can see there's a big red area here, which is very bad. So the air on Startopia gets used up in time from the aliens when they're breathing, and some rooms also cause pollution. and I need to deal with that. I need to have fresh air that's always supplied. So, because if they have to walk through bad air, they're unhappy about that, and they can also get sick from walking through bad and stale air. So I always want to try to have fresh air everywhere. And I will build an air filter here, and also build some in this new area I've opened before to help spread fresh air all around my station. We can see all of my aliens are highlighted in red, and this room is also highlighted in red because those are sources of bad air. Whereas my droids, for example, don't cause pollution because they don't breathe, so they don't have any effect on the air quality. I will turn off the overlay for now, and I will move back down into the subdeck and take care of my goal in this mission, which is right now opening a research lab. So I will open my research menu, and I have to gain access to the research lab technology, which is in this currently still locked category. If I click the category, I can see some prerequisites that I need to fulfill in order to be able to access this. Luckily, I've already built those rooms, so I can unlock this. And now I can unlock the research lab as well. We can see this triggered a dialogue. This is Val speaking. She's the mainframe of Startopia, and she's located in the center of the station. She will comment on our actions from time to time. She will sometimes give helpful tips. Sometimes they're not so helpful. And she plays a very important part in the campaign as well. Now I will open another gate here as well because the research lab is rather big, so I need some space for that. We'll move into this new space and construct it over here. I will also pick up some of the trash that appeared. Always good to clean up the station if you have some spare time. Throw it into the recycler. Down here, this bar just popped up with the timer running down. This is a so-called legacy event. From time to time, Val tells me that something could be improved about the station or about the technology or something. And in this case, she says getting access to new sectors could be improved because she thinks it's kind of ineffective. And she's offering me to either reduce the cost by half, but then I risk meeting enemies in the newly opened sectors because the energy she doesn't use up would have been used to burn enemies that could still be remaining in the sectors. Or I can slightly reduce the cost, which won't cause enemies to be there, but maybe there will be more trash in each sector because she doesn't clean up properly. For now, I will choose the top option, and hopefully I won't meet too many enemies. Now, what's interesting about these legacy events is that in multiplayer games, each player gets them at the same time, and each player can make their own choice. So player A might go with the safe route, whereas player B might go with the more risky route. And depending on their play style, they can adjust those events to their liking. For example, there's one where your combat units can do a lot more damage at the risk of exploding after attacking because the battery overheats, or they get a lot more armor at the cost of highly reduced movement speed because they're way too heavy to move fast now. And so an aggressive player might choose option A, whereas a defensive player might choose option B. And you can find out in the course of the game if your choice you made was the right one or not. But now we can see that my research lab has been built, and we can see this icon above it, which tells me I don't have any workers for this. I will open my unit menu and click on the scientists tab. I can filter for all kinds of visitors that are on my station, and I only want scientists for now. And I can filter by their skill dedication levels. Their skill affects how effective they are at their work, so how fast they work. And their dedication affects how long they will continue to work for before taking a break. I will now hire some from the middle that don't cost me too much to hire. Hiring an alien costs me energy, but afterwards I don't pay them a wage. Instead, they are free to use any building on Startopia for free. So I miss out on more income by hiring them, but that's all right because right now I don't have to worry about energy. They will also gain experience by working in their job. And if they fill their experience bar, they will be able to allowed to be promoted. And if I promote them, I can increase their stats by 1. If I don't promote an alien that wants to be promoted, after some time it will get angry and leave because it doesn't think that I value their skills as an employee. So it will try to find a job elsewhere. I can see there's already one scientist working in the research lab. And if I don't do anything specific with the research lab, it will generate me energy. So my researchers will help with intergalactic researches that focus on improving some big technology for the better of the whole galaxy. But I don't want to do that right now. I want to improve my rooms and deepen my research of my rooms. I will order my droids to build a security station, which is like the police station on Startopia. Because once that's built, I can try to improve it in the research lab. While we wait for it, I will show you one that's already built over here. So this one's already constructed. And if I take a look at it, we can see there's security drones linked to this. So in each security station can control a certain number of drones. At the beginning, it's 4. And these drones will fly around Startopia scanning my visitors for criminals. And they have a high chance of detecting if a visitor is criminal. And if they do so, they will escort it to my prison, which we can see over here, where it will have to spend their sentence in jail. And once it comes out, it's hopefully re-socialized and an innocent member of Startopia again. And they do that all on their own and just travel around the station. Now we can see that this one's getting built right now. All right, it got constructed. I can click on it, and now I can choose to deconstruct this room. This will fold it up into a handy crate. I can take that crate into my inventory, and I could place it anywhere else on the station to move the room. But instead, I want my researchers to improve it, so I will drop it on the research lab. Now, if I look at it, we can see that they're currently researching level 2 of the security station. So by dropping room crates on this research lab, I'm able to increase the technology level of the room that I dropped on it, which will have different benefits depending on the type of room you're researching. So, for example, with the security station, if that's upgraded to level 2, then each security station will have 5 drones in a swarm instead of 4. And if I upgrade it to level 3, I will be able to have 6 and so on. Whereas different rooms have other benefits. For example, the recycler, if I improve that, will generate me more money, or it might pollute the air less. The leveling up takes some time, depending on the type of room you're dropping, whether it's big and complex or small and rather easy. It takes more or less time to improve the level of this room. And it also depends on the skill of your researchers, of course. The more experienced researchers are quicker to unlock a new research, whereas the beginners take a longer time to improve your researches. Now, this should be done any second now. All right, we can see the crate get used up, and Val is commenting on this. And if we move over to the security station, I can see there's now a 5th spot for security drones. Now, it would get constructed if there were anybody working here. Maybe I'm just lacking a few workers for this. There's probably not enough. So I will open the units menu and hire some of the Leviathans, which are the guys that work in the security station. So once they start working, they should produce an additional drone for me, which will help me fight crime on my station, because the more drones I have, the faster I can scan aliens. And they're also my very basic combat units, so I can increase my military strength by getting more drones. They're very weak, but they're the cheapest combat unit I have available to me. And it seems like I can make good use of them right now, because Val just informed me that something happened on the biodeck. So I will enter battle mode and jump into the biodeck. Now in battle mode, I can give straight direct orders to my combat units. So it's now in real-time strategy mode. I can order them to move somewhere and order them to attack a specific target. And if they have special skills they can use, then I can make them use that special skill. See that my drones are moving up and starting to attack these eggs that spawned here, because I want to prevent something from hatching from them. And as we can see, they don't do a lot of damage, but the more you have, the faster you can take down these rather weak eggs, because they can't fight back. So they're an easy target for my drones. All right, perfect. I've destroyed all of them, so nothing can hatch from them for now. The biodeck that we can see here is the third and final deck of Startopia, and aliens that have had enough of the technology and all the flashing lights and everything can come up here and relax their eyes, relax their minds, and get back into nature again to fulfill their need for nature, which just builds up automatically after spending time in the other areas of the station. And also, I can get resources up here on the biodeck. So we can see different plants growing here, and I can harvest those, and they will yield me different resources. For example, food, medicine, or contraband black market resources. Different resources have a different use. For example, the medicine gets used in the sick bay, and food gets used in the food rooms. But I could also gain fiber, for example, that I can process into plastics, which I need for building mechs. And I should build a mech right now because there's probably more mechs that are going to be spawning. So I want to have a fast way to deal with that. I will order a mech to be built in the security center. And now my workers will start constructing this mech. There's different kinds of mechs that have strengths and weaknesses against other mechs. I currently ordered my units to build an artillery mech, which shoots large rockets that deal area damage. There's also a shotgun mech and a sniper mech. And the rocket mech that I'm building is very good against those sniper mechs because it does more damage against them. But it's weak against the shotgun mechs because the shotgun mechs will rush towards my artillery mech and get too close for it to shoot the rockets. And so, because it doesn't want to shoot itself, so now it's a weaker standard attack that doesn't deal as much damage and doesn't deal area damage and falls easy prey to these shotgun mechs. Building a mech also takes time, and my droids work on it, but it should be done in time for more eggs to show up. There's also a fourth mech, which is a kind of a siege mech, which fires large lasers, and that one is very good against energy barriers and buildings, but it's very weak against other combat units. So it's more to finish damaging the energy core of another station commander, for example. In free game, you also have the option to play completely without combat, though. It's up to the players to decide if they want combat enabled or not. If they're more peaceful, they can focus on other aspects of the games. All right, and there we are. That's our artillery mech built. And we can see that mechs in the Combat UI have another bar, which is their mech power. So for each action they do, it will use up some of their mech power. Mech power is supplied by Leviathans working in the security station that this mech is linked to. So I always need to have people working here in order for my mechs to function properly. But now I have a problem because the mech is too big to use my regular lift. So I need to find another solution. So I need to build a mech transporter, which I haven't unlocked yet. I will unlock that and order my droids to build it, because this will allow me to transport my mech to other decks on the station. All right, but it looks like I'm running out of time for the current time slots. So I'm probably going to finish this up here. I hope you enjoyed the first look you've seen.